For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Good morning and welcome to your lofty program, State of the Nation, where we hasten the motions for national development. And when it comes to national development, we're all in it together. This morning, our brief is going to dwell on the factor of education. Little wonder we decided that we're going to talk about the caption that says, educating the educators. It is a normal parlance that we use these days by saying, well, our youths are going to become the leaders of tomorrow. But the question is, how good do we train them? How good do we educate them? How good do we sensitize them? How good do we orientate them? And the thing is, it boils down to us, the elders. It starts from home, where we give them the basic education that they go out with and go into primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. But this morning we're going to dwell on education, which is something that is gotten, the education that is gotten outside of the house, which is primary, secondary, and tertiary. Honestly, we should not delude ourselves that our education system is lofty. No. On a world scale, most nations put together a budget of above 20% for education. Honestly, the standard is 25%. But here in Nigeria, our own standard is just a paltry 13%. Even at that paltry 13%, how good do we make do with it? That is where we have a problem that we are going to tidy up this morning, because a lot of people that are in the education system are saying they don't like what governments are doing to them. I am not talking about ASU today, because that's a case for tertiary institutions. I am talking about the basic education, the standards for education. Because the word here is, it is at primary, at secondary level that you get educated. Once you go into tertiary institution, you know what that is? Specialization. So this morning we are dealing with education on the primary and secondary level. And the problem that we have is the teachers. Little wonder why our caption says, educating the educators. Because if you don't have good teachers, what are they going to churn out? They are going to churn out semi-illiterates. I would like to take your mind back to what happened some years back in Edo State. I would like to give kudos to that governor then. Honestly, his name is Oshiomhole. Oshiomhole woke up one day and went to a gathering of teachers, because he was thinking in terms of, okay, let's see how we can improve on your teaching capabilities, capacities, and the rest of it. And when the man got there, the man just looked at them there seated and they said, okay, you in front, can I see your certificate? She said, no, my certificate is long coming. I lost it. The only thing I have here is an affidavit from the courts. Oshiomhole said, okay, fine. Can I see it? She gave it to Oshiomhole. And Oshiomhole turned it back and gave it back to her and told her, read what is in that affidavit. Fellow Nigerians, I will tell you this for free. The only thing the woman was able to read on the affidavit was her name. You heard me right. Her name. She could not read, this affidavit was sworn at so-so court for so-so and so. She only read her name, and then the rest was, she was stuttering. Oshiomhole was flabbergasted. He did the same to 936 of them. And in annoyance that, are these the people that are training and teaching our kids? The man was mad at them. He fired 936. Typical Nigerians. NUT shouted. Civil service shouted. You can't sack us. We can't do this. We can't do that. And the angle I didn't like was the man bowed to political expediencies. Those 900 plus people were reinstated with the promise that they will go and improve on their capacities. You that are listening to me, is that the way to go? What do you think? Those kids, that the woman that cannot read our own affidavit, is teaching your kid in school. It's high time we take it to them. It's not every time they strike we start blaming the government. Most of them do not have the capacity and the competence to teach our kids. Little wonder these days, your child comes back home and then he or she can string together one or two sentences of English because the man or the woman who is teaching him or her in school can't do same. But the latest that is happening now that the NUT is shouting about is the case of Kaduna State and its able governor Nasir El-Rufai. El-Rufai went out there and told all the teachers in his state. He told about 26,000 of them, you all are going to take competency tests, because I want to be sure that what you're teaching our kids in school is the right thing. I want to be sure that you are competent and you have the capacity to teach our kids. You know what? NUT shouted, you can't do this to us. They went to court. It should be stopped. Fellow Nigerians, should it be stopped? Are you not interested in those that teach your children? Are you not interested in the teachers that teach your children? Are you okay with an incompetent person teaching your child in school? Little wonder El-Rufai is doing this. Honestly, from my own personal angle, I share his thoughts that if you are supposed to be a teacher, you should take a regular competency test. The NUT went out there and said, no, we are not going to agree to it. Why wouldn't you agree to it? The kids you teach in class, how many times do you set tests for them? What is the reason for the test? The reason for the test is simple. You want to check how much they've assimilated what you taught them. So why shouldn't we do competency test on you to show that you are okay, your capacity is good to go, you are current enough to teach our kids? That is the dilemma that is going on in Kaduna State as we speak. And honestly, when some group of them, about a few thousands, 26,000 thereabout, or some of them, took the examination, 165 of them did not even know what was on paper, not to talk of what to write. And honestly, they were sacked. I want you to share my own intuition. I want you to have your own opinion and then be able to go back to if your kids are in school, take, for God's sake, it is not enough to send them to school. Get interested in what is happening out there. Get interested in who is teaching them. Get interested in the competency of the teachers out there. When I was growing up, and in that primary school over 60 years ago, we do have PTA, Parents Teachers Association. Parents are duty bound to come. If you don't come, you send in a proxy. But these days, parents are no longer interested. They're busy looking for money, maybe for this or that. Fine, looking for money is good because you need to maintain the family. But at the same time, the family you're trying to maintain, you are not educating them enough to become better grown-ups. Like I was saying about PTAs, get interested in your PTA. I'm asking some of you, do you know if the school of your child has a PTA? And if they do, are you part of it? These are things you can come up with. You can say it straight to their faces. If you're not competent, don't teach my child. You pay taxes. You are a Nigerian. You have rights. There are schools that are created by local government, by state governments. It is your money. It is your money. You're a Nigerian. The money spent on Nigeria belongs to us all. It is our commonwealth. So get interested. And give the likes of Nasir El-Rufai, governor of Kaduna State, some kudos and some support. That if we are going to teach our kids, we need to have better teachers. Little wonder, the caption for today is educating the educators. It's high time we have the best of our kids. On a regular basis, we sit back and say, yes, our youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't you sit back and wonder what an illiterate youth, what kind of a leader that youth is going to become? And the funny thing is, it is not his fault per se. You did not take time out to make sure he's properly educated. For a man that is not properly educated, is semi-illiterate, the ideas he will come up with will shock you. The ideas will shock you. And when we all are talking, in terms of, yes, we want to make Nigeria a better place, we want to do this, Nigeria should be better, Nigeria should be this. This is where it starts from. This is where we should start from. Because it is important that we educate our kids. On the last note, Governor El-Rufai, I say thank you. We still have 35 governors out there. Please copy El-Rufai, check on the competency of your teachers so that we can churn out the best of our kids that are going to become leaders of tomorrow.